A prosecutor has determined whether or not Uber is responsible for the self-driving car accident in Arizona, and the result, as well as the reasoning, may or may not surprise you. Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur, and I think you probably all know, without even watching this video, if you've been watching my channel for any period of time, you know that I consider Uber to be culpable and responsible for the woman who died in Arizona. I believe that to be absolutely 100% true. And everything I have read leads me to believe that the legal system should have slammed their ass for this. They should have slammed their ass for it. Because Uber was careless. They were careless in the worst possible way. And they were stupid, which may have been worse. I don't know what was worse, whether they were stupid or whether they were careless. You know, and yet a prosecutor says, you know what, they're not criminally liable. And we're going to show why the prosecutor thinks this and why he's an idiot. It's been a while since I've been this upset. An Arizona prosecutor has determined that Uber is not criminally liable in the case of a Tempe woman who was struck by a self-driving test car last year. Quote, after a very thorough review of all the evidence presented, this office has determined that there is no basis for criminal liability for the Uber Corporation arising from this matter. The Yavapai County Attorney's Office wrote in a letter to the Maricopa County Attorney's Office. Tempe is in Maricopa County, but Yavapai County took the case due to potential conflict of interest. And yes, there probably was a conflict of interest. We might have to discuss that a little later. Elaine Hertzberg, 49, was walking a bicycle across the road at night when she was fatally struck by a Volvo SUV outfitted with an Uber self-driving system in March 2018. The car had a human operator behind the wheel, but it was in computer control mode at the time of the crash. In the 6 seconds before impact, the self-driving system classified the pedestrian as an unknown object, then as a vehicle, and then as a bicycle. A preliminary report from the National Transportation Safety Board explained. While the system identified that an emergency braking maneuver was needed to mitigate a collision, the system was set up to not activate emergency braking when under computer control. Now, let's read that real quick. Let's just highlight that. The system was set up to not activate emergency braking when under computer control. How is that anything but negligence? And by the way, it should be mentioned, if you have watched either my videos before or Peterson's or your personal driver, if you watch anyone who covered this, you will know that Uber turned that off. And they removed sensors and cameras that would have potentially made it so that the pedestrian would not get hit by the car. The car would brake and slow down and all that jazz. And why did they turn that stuff off? Well, because it wasn't compatible with Uber's self-driving system, which means in order for it to drive, it had to deliberately be less safe. Instead, the car system relied on the human operator to intervene as needed. By the way, it should be noted, there was also no alarms set up so that the driver would be alerted that they needed to take over. But again, I would like to point out, I've been pointing it out since this thing began, if you have a self-driving car, you shouldn't be reliable on the human driver. The whole point of the self-driving vehicle is that the driver doesn't do anything. If the driver has to intervene in situations like this, then the whole thing is useless. Whole thing is useless. Let's continue. Quote, the system is not designed to alert the operator, the report notes. Well then, the driver skewed less than a second before the crash and did not brake until after the impact. The Arizona Republic has reported that the driver, 44-year-old Rafaela Vasquez, was streaming the television show The Voice in the vehicle in the minutes before the crash. Not something I would have recommended. I mean, I'm pretty sure the job description does not say, you know, you can watch stuff on, you know, your phone, but, you know, whatever. Video from a camera inside the car shows Vasquez looking down immediately before the crash, glancing up at the road from time to time. Vasquez could face charges of manslaughter. Oh yeah. Of course, she's gonna face the charges of manslaughter, even though Uber did not train her, did not make clear that you were not to be distracted on the road, had disabled cameras and sensors, had turned off emergency braking, did not have an audio thing to alert her when she would need to take over. No. Uber didn't do any of these things, and yet the driver is getting screwed. I don't know why I'm surprised. I mean, honestly, that happens so often on this channel. Isn't that such a reoccurring story? Uber does this, driver gets screwed. It's the same. I'm going to try not to swear anymore. I know I've already, because I try to keep the channel rated, but oh my gosh. I don't know. Okay, let's continue. Uber, which declined to comment for the story, no surprise, could still be sued in civil court and be forced to pay damages. Oh yeah. The government could also potentially pursue criminal charges against managers or employees of Uber, which they will most likely not. And they most likely will not because for the same reason that the prosecutor is likely letting Uber off the hook. The reason they are letting Uber off the hook, I believe, is because the reason they had this much freedom on the road was because Governor Douchey, I know it's not his real name, but you know, you're a douche, decided to give them free rein. He even openly bragged, there are no restrictions to progress in Arizona. We welcome the safe driving cars. 2 weeks later, you know, pedestrian dies, and it's like, oh, no, we don't condone that. No. Yeah, someone was told, yeah, are you real? If you implement Uber, you're probably going to have to implicate, I don't know if I'm using the right term. I'm upset right now. If you blame Uber, you have to blame the governor, and nobody wants to blame the governor. Anyway, Hertzberg's family reached a settlement with the company shortly after the crash. Her husband and daughter have also sued the city of Tempe, alleging that a brick pathway that crosses the landscape was designed for people to cross at the accident. There were public reports. The city has since torn out the pathway. Now that, okay, I'm going to be honest, that's interesting. Because I was under the impression that the woman was homeless, but apparently she had a husband and a daughter. And I mean, it has been pointed out that she has had a family that has been more than willing to sue Uber and all these companies, but you know, where were they? Yeah, this is the first time I'm hearing about a husband and daughter, so that's yeah, how'd that work out? Bryant Walker Smith, a University of South Carolina law professor whose research focuses on automated driving systems, suggests not reading too much into the prosecutor's letter. Quote, it's not necessary exculpatory. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that word. It doesn't exonerate Uber or put the company's conduct then or now beyond criticism. And I'm not sure it tells us much about the criminal, much less civil liability of automated driving developers in future incidents. Smith says he hopes the NTSB's final report on the crash will illuminate more about the crash. Quote, and I would still like to see Uber publicly apologize and explain what specifically went wrong. Companies should earn our trust in part by being candid about their failures as well as their successes. Yes, but Uber has never played by the rules, and they're not going to start now. So, yeah, this prosecutor is a moron. In fact, I'm going to say he's an asshole. I'm sorry. He is. There is every reason that this is Uber's fault. Every reason. 2 days after, maybe even the day after this happened, I made a video called Who Will Uber Kill Next? And you know what? That question stands. Who will Uber kill next? They're clearly getting away with it. Apparently they can, you know, have these cars that are not safe, that don't have the right equipment, that don't do what they're supposed to do, run over, hit someone, and kill them. And that's fine. They get away with it. You know what? I gotta have to end this one now. This one's pissing me off. And I told myself this would be a happier channel. You know, we would do more positivity, and once in a while, Uber just gets me back into this. So anyway, there we go. We're going to leave that there. Question off to you guys. Do you blame Uber for this? Do you not blame Uber for this? I would really love to know why. So you know the drill. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe. If you enjoy my videos, consider becoming a Patreon member. It's totally optional, but even a little $1 a month goes a long way to helping the channel run smoothly. And as always, flame responsibly, have a good one. My goodness, I can't believe it. I had just uploaded that eBay video. That was such a nice video, and I had to come to this. Ow, my teeth. Sorry, just got dental work done. Still haven't healed yet, still a little sore. Okay, anyway, we're going to end that there. You know, we already went through the spiel. Talk to you all later.